these people.
It's a waste. He needs to just walk away. But going back to Roe v. Wade, I was having this discussion with someone about how the timing, of course, is suspect, right? I think it was Misty. Yeah, Misty and I were talking about that. The timing is suspect of how it got leaked. It's a first leak of a full opinion in 60 years, right? There has been some leaks, but not of a full opinion. And the timing was in time for the Democrats to fundraise before the fall midterms. And they did get a bump. They got a bump in fundraising. I don't think that's going to sustain. And now you have them coming out and defending Kavanaugh. And remember, I don't know if you saw that, but and Psaki, the White House press secretary, telling people not to go to people's houses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, we're going to go to your house. We're going to go to all your houses soon.
They're just saying that because they don't want people to go to their house.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that people are protesting outside Kavanaugh's house, but I also think people should be protesting outside Henry Cuellar's house, outside Nancy Pelosi's house, outside Obama's house, all the Democrats that go along with this, Tim Kaine's house. Why aren't they, so that will make it more of, I think that will really open people's eyes to the fact that it's not just Republicans in DC that are against abortion. Now, I think it's ridiculous that we even have to have this discussion again. It's 2022. I think that's ridiculous. But why did this happen to happen during a midterm year when Joe Biden is polling horribly? He's dropped significantly with the African-American vote, which he needs to win. And Democrats are probably going to lose the House and the Senate this year based on what I've seen so far with the numbers and the candidates. So now all of a sudden it's, okay, this is the fear issue that we're going to run on this time. Last time it was, you have to vote for this person so you don't get Trump. Now it's, you're going to have to vote for Democrats. Otherwise, we're going to lose women's rights. It's always something.
Right. It's always something. Yeah. Blue, no matter who, and remember, like someone put out a meme that said, blue, no matter who raped you, which was really, but it really sad and graphic, but absolutely true. I mean, it's the lesser of two evils. That's an old, nobody, that shouldn't even be a thing. There are so many talented progressives and other people that really want to do some really significant change. Why aren't we lifting them? Why are we lifting these old, look at Dianne Feinstein. She's practically fossilized in her seat. These congressional seats were not meant to be lifetime appointments. And that's how they're treating them. And someone had brought up Leon Panetta and how now he's working with Raytheon, which is, as you know, the weapons manufacturer. His son, Jimmy Panetta, is now the congressman of the district that I used to live in California. And it's so it's just like royalty. He passed it down to his son. Why isn't someone else able to do that? What is wrong with our system that we've gotten to this almost, it's just very elitist, and it's just very, I don't see it improving at all right now. I don't know if you do, but the Roe v. Wade thing. Yeah.
A lot of it's all controlled by money. All of it. I mean, and these political dynasties are incredibly dangerous. Nancy Pelosi, her father was a politician. She's a politician. Gavin Newsom is related to Nancy Pelosi, I think through marriage, per se. And so the Clintons, the Bushes, these political dynasties have just got to go. Even the Kennedys here. And there's a whole bunch of stories about the Kennedys here in Massachusetts that people just don't know about, that are not good stories. So I think you really have to vet people. And what I mean by that, if I look at someone like AOC, the story that she gave about her background was not true. I should have done more research back then. But if I would have known that she had worked for Ted Kennedy, I would have never given her money. Never given it. Nobody gets that.
Tell our audience more about that. I don't think a lot of people knew that she worked for Ted Kennedy. When did she work for Ted Kennedy?
So AOC went to Boston University. I used to work at Boston University. So what a lot of people may not realize is that the story that came out about her, that she was a bartender and she grew up in the Bronx, that's half truth, right? So she actually grew up in a suburb outside of the Bronx. Her parents bought a house. Her mom cleaned houses. Her dad worked for an architect company, but he was actually the president of the architect company. So yes, her parents may have started out in the Bronx, but she grew up in a suburban upper middle class neighborhood. And she went to Boston University, and working at BU, especially as part of admissions, Boston University is very particular about the zip codes they select when they recruit students, right? So when I found out she went to BU, I was like, well, oh, if she's from the Bronx, then she went to the Bronx Science and Math School. No, she didn't, because at BU, usually when they recruit students from the Bronx, they recruit them from that school. And so it's kind of like a charter school. So when I found that out, I was like, something's a little off here. Then I did more research. That was when I found out that she interned for Ted Kennedy. And for people who don't fully know who Ted Kennedy was, Ted Kennedy, part of the Kennedy family, he actually, and this might blow some people's minds if they're not familiar, Ted Kennedy killed a woman. Now, this was years ago, admitted to it, didn't serve any time, wasn't even arrested because he was a Kennedy. They made a movie about it. It's called Chappaquiddick. Happened right here in Massachusetts. And then later ran for president. So she interned for him. And if I knew that, because when they said that she just came from the Bronx and she was a bartender, et cetera, they made it seem like, here's this poor Latina girl that came from the Bronx, and if she did it, you could do it too. That wasn't true. She already had political connections. She grew up in a suburban community. And if I knew that, I wouldn't have donated money to her. They made it seem like she was Sandy the bartender, and people don't know that she had a startup. She wasn't just a bartender. Like the kids that graduate from BU, they don't just go and become like bartenders. They usually go on to big things. So if I knew those things about her, I wouldn't have donated money to her. I donated money because I felt like she grew up a certain way and she needed the money, but she didn't really need the money.